some kind of weird energy? Is it something entirely different that we just don't understand yet? Because I mean, really, it could be any of this stuff. Whoa, that's scary. Sorry, I see my lovely face over there. It scared me for just a minute there. It did. No, it scared me pretty good. Hold on. Let me put that where I can see it. Well, it's just me in here, but let me see. Okay, I can see that. Let me see this. Okay, yeah, now I can see everything. Yay, there we go. Well, no, I wanted to be able to see this chat room. Hold on. So I want to be able to see this chat room. And I want to be able to see this chat room, which is the Facebook chat room. There we go. A lot of weirdness has been going on lately. Actually, I didn't even send Julia and Phil an invite. I'll have to do that in the next few minutes. But just a lot of stuff. Weirdness has been going on. I mean, I get all these weird reports. Like the other day, so we've got like 5 listeners in North Korea.
The author of Ender's Game.
Yeah, I don't know who they are. It's got to be somebody in the upper echelon. Because really, truly, who else can listen? Who else? Hey, it's Sean. What are you doing, Sean?
Hey, Joe. What's up, buddy? How are you?
I was just talking paranormal ghosty stuff. I said, let me send Sean an invite. And
cool.
I was just throwing invites out as I go along and seeing what's up. So how you been, man?
Doing okay. Enjoying the paranormal world. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I've been doing it myself lately. It seems to be a little strange. We've been getting a lot of requests for different kind of shows. Somebody asked me the other day, he said, well, y'all got a lot of paranormal shows. I said, no, not really. I said, if you're going to list them as paranormal, I said, technically there's 3 or 4 maybe. There might be 4. Let's see. Because technically, Sean Graham isn't paranormal. He does whatever the hell he wants. He knows what time he's talking about. Y'all are paranormal, but y'all not always paranormal. The majority are paranormal. Horsefly Chronicles, they're paranormal. The Outer Realm, they go back and forth, so they're not really paranormal. Dell's not paranormal. Now Michael is. He does paranormal news. He does red pill news and paranormal, so I guess technically he's paranormal. So that's 3. Let's see, Tim Banal's not, John Greenwald's not, Tess isn't.
Matter of fact, I got an interview with Preston.
I think that's it right now. I think there's only 3 paranormal shows on the network. So no, guys, no, we're not heavy. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's been times in the past where we've had 10, 12, 15 of them around. And you got bored going from one show to the next show. Because let's be honest, we've had some big names on. Remember when the Taps crew was on? So they were circulating through our network, right? So 5 different hosts had them. So I told everybody, I did the same thing for Travis Walton because he was with 5 different hosts. I said, look, before y'all bring these guys on, or these ladies on, why don't y'all get together and line out y'all's questions so each host has got a different line of questions so it doesn't sound like the repeat of the show before it. They did really good. Jason and Grant were really happy. Travis Walton was really happy because the shows went off. And then we had the 3 of them on because Travis went and did a gig with Grant and Jason somewhere. And so we even had them there on. I had no idea what that was about. That's another weird thing. But, and a good friend of mine, Tuesday Miles, is who hooked me up with. Tuesday knew everybody who was anybody in the field. She's got me the last interview with
winners from the first quarter of
the old white-headed guy from the Queen Mary.
We've got a winner from
okay. I know you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't think of his name. Yeah. But we got his last. He died like 2 weeks after. We've got several interviews where somebody died within 2 weeks of the interview. So we got their last interview.
Last year we
it's kind of creepy. Hey, Michelle, it's kind of creepy.
Hey, Michelle, how are you?
Sean, Michelle. Yeah, I'm Michelle. How am I doing? But it's kind of creepy when. So currently we've had 7 hosts die in the network and 14 guests that we got their last interviews. It's kind of creepy. And when you go through as many people as we do, I understand that's going to happen, but it still creeps me out a little bit. I'm always waiting for some weird EVP or something, or some anomaly where one of them's talking to Joe, we're still here, asshole. No, go away.
That will be me to you.
Don't be around here. Go away.
Yeah. Hey, Joe, question to ask you, buddy.
My first book I ever read was a
or Michelle. During the live broadcast, when you play it back, do you ever get an EVP on it?
Oh, we do it all the time, man. Oh, my God. And some shows, for some reason, some shows are riddled with them. Some shows you might not even hear one. Some you might hear 1 or 2 weirdnesses. some shows, like this was a fun. I forgot who it was. It was Bigfoot in the Bar. Somebody. Anyway, they were doing an EVP show. So the first hour was, it couldn't have been Bigfoot because they were only 1 hour. So the first hour was all their own EVPs. The second hour was them talking about their EVPs without playing him. So I'm listening to the show, and I'm listening to the second hour, and I'm like, well, I thought they weren't playing the EVPs. Man, there must have been 50 of them. So I called them up. I said, what the hell happened? They said, well, Joe, you were controlling the audio, not us. And I was thinking about it, so we sat and listened to it, and they were all over the place. I mean, they were weird stuff. One of them said there was something he was talking about, and you could hear in the background, no, you're wrong, that's not what it is. And then later on, that same voice comes up, no, I told you were wrong, this is what it is. And I was like, and then somebody wrote to me and said, well, who was that? I said, hell, I wasn't even in front of the computer. I said, the systems are locked. I said, once we go live, the systems are locked, so no audio can get in from anywhere.
You have to read.
Because
people message me regularly and say, I heard something come through your audio at this specific time, and I'll tag it and send it to Joe, or they'll say, we see things moving. And
there's always something behind Michelle. So I just ignore that. Her and the guy that comes on with all the dolls. Every time he comes on this network, and I've never interviewed him personally.
It's a doll thing.
I've never interviewed the guys. I'm with y'all. So he'll be sitting there with like 50 dolls. Now all these dolls supposedly have been exercised, and you'll see the doll be like looking at you like this, and all of a sudden he goes,
no, I haven't.
You're like, excuse me, doll.
You know what, Joe, check this out, right? I can go to the most demonic house out there and investigate. It's not a problem. When you put me in a house full of dolls or a room full of dolls, I'm done.
All those little eyes staring at you? Is that what it is?
That's a phobia that abductees have. They hate dolls, and not just any. They hate all dolls. Plus, if it's like Raggedy Ann, the Andy, the big ones, they really or clowns. They really hate them too for some reason.
Not that I hate them. It's just it's just weird that a doll it's just like a little person just be doing weird ass crazy stuff, and it's just.
I'm sure some of my sister's dolls are probably possessed. I used to cut their fingers off, hang them out the windows of the car, throw them down the interstate. Because my sister was evil. She was evil. She was Satan incarnate.
Now we know.
Oh God! I'd like step, stop. She went out the window. The baby Kindle out the window. Out it went. We're doing 80. She's screaming down the highway. I'm like, oh my God! Why did I do that? I had to go back to the damn car. She turned out pretty good. I used to torture her all the time. Her and my aunt cousin used to drive me crazy. And I would put ghosties in the house for her. Say, look, here's a ghostie. I don't think I'm too scared of anything. There may be aliens, but otherwise they're not real scary. But when you grow up in New Orleans, it's part of. I mean, first off, we do haunted houses. Like, people in other states will do like a haunted house in their city or two, and a couple of neighborhoods. No, not down here, man. Like every block's got a freaking haunted house. And then like the sheriff puts on a really good one. He puts on a big one in his warehouse. There's a couple of really nice ones. So, if you live down here, you get used to seeing things that are out of sort, especially if you hang around the city a lot. The suburbs is not as much, especially Metairie and all. They're old, but Metairie seems to be pretty laid back. But New Orleans itself, there's always something. And then sometimes you think you're seeing shit, it turns out to be something else. Like one night we're driving, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. We're coming through the city, and you see all this weird going between these buildings. It sounds like horses clocking. Like, what the hell is this, man? So I come zipping. I think we want to catch some kind of like demonic. It's a freaking movie being filmed. Some vampire western movie. That's a famous movie. I can't remember the name of it. Yeah, we roll right up on in the car and everything.
It's probably Abe Lincoln, Vampire Hunter.
It might have been. I'm jumping out with cameras.
That's a good one.
That's a cool movie. Yes,
2 thumbs up for that one. Yeah.
Yes.
John and I would just sit there and give ratings. Double thumbs, 1 thumb.
Well, it's funny. One of your guests contacted me today about a show, about doing a show on the network, by doing that kind of stuff. It's a guy who does the documentaries and stuff, little films and stuff.
Bottom part
is
who are you talking to, me or Sean?
They're talking to you.
Okay, I don't know which one. Oh,
thank you, Michelle. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Y'all supposed to be telepaths or psychics or some shit.
I know exactly who it was. He told me that he asked. Remember, he asked for contact information because he wanted to get you in a documentary.
Yeah, we were talking about it today, and I showed him, where
Jason Hewitt, I think it is.
Yeah, I showed him the difference between live. He said, "Wow." He said, "Well, people all the time ask me, come to podcasts, can they get paid?" I said, "Yeah, if you get enough audience, you can. But you got to get there. You just don't get a check." I said, "Meanwhile, but we're such a young network." Well, I mean, I was just thinking the other day. Listen, but I was just thinking the other day. I should
Southern Alabama, there's a lot of
the amount of reach we got. Lord, man, you can't pay for this kind of reach. It was funny because I was picking on a good friend of mine, Jessica Reach, the other day. She works for NBC, and she was giving me some shit about listeners, and I'm like, really? I said, how many listeners you got in Iran? Oh, that's right, 0. Oh, how many you got in Afghanistan? Oh, that's right, 0. Well, no, wait, that's right, you got 0. Oh, Israel? Oh, you got 5. I was like, ooh. I said, wait. I said, how many you got in Egypt? Oh, that's right, 0. I said, look. I said, how many you got? Oh, that's right, 0. She's like, stop it. I'm like, I said, look, you got, there's like 30 countries you're not allowed in. I'm not allowed in those countries. I said, I can go all over Vietnam. I said, I'm even allowed in China. And you're not. I said, so get over yourself. You ain't that big and bad no more. I said, because I go places you can't. I said, I go everywhere you do go, plus places you can. I said, technically, who's bigger here, me or you? They get so pissed at me. They can't stand it. But I've been talking with some other networks lately, and we got more reach.
It's almost like they don't want you interfering.
Why am I not?
Which doesn't seem to be a bad
what the hell?
Oh, wrong camera.
I was on.
It wasn't me, whatever it is.
I thought I had the Hitron set up. I got something else.
Joe, you sent a message to Jenny. Y'all had a meeting on Saturday, right?
This Saturday on the 15th. Yeah, we got it.
Okay, you said something that our show, Chasing Prophecy, finished second.
On Podbean. Yeah, y'all wrapped. Y'all hit up in second. For the Podbean is just another one of our broadcast venues. See, we have 150 archive sites, and each one is different. None of them are the same. So, like SoundCloud right now, I'm whooping Michelle's ass.
I'm going to be an old person,
but she isn't second. But y'all, nobody else is even close. Actually, Michael Angley is the closest, and he ain't even close. But that was just me.
Honestly, it's because I want a better world later.
The way it is SoundCloud's got one. SoundCloud's got one audience. Podbean's got another. By the way, Michelle and I ain't even. So I don't know what it is. They just don't like us. Spotify, we do good on. iHeart is different. iTunes is different. Everybody's different, so you never know. So what I do is when I'm passing through them, from time to time I look at the stats. That's one thing Saturday we're going to talk about, just a little bit of stats. Really, Saturday's meetings really is just about branding on the station, YouTube, and stats.
Should we? Are we live?
Yes, we are live.
We maybe talk about the meeting after.
Yes, actually, we are live. So people, y'all know people. I make the meetings public anyway, so it don't matter. You don't have to ask. Well, people use this is so funny. This is like when Michelle and I do the Gray Zone on Saturday. So people used to sneak because I did the meetings over Spreaker. So it published to SoundCloud. So people would go in and try to download it really fast to get it. And I'm thinking, we're not going to delete it. I'm leaving it there so the damn host can find it. Because unless it's a private meeting where we're discussing something personal amongst the hosts,
right?
Everything else gets recorded so that when the host wants to go back and here's something they don't have to plug me in and go listen to the meeting.
I had a really great English teacher.
Or dig it up.
Matter of fact,
and then and sometimes in meetings we talk about ghosties and aliens and demons too.
Cool.
Especially when the Queen of Paranormal is with us.
And that's Michelle, right?
I'm not saying who that is. You see, I played that out with no name coming out of my mouth.
So it was here.
Well, Sean, since we have several queens on the network, we got to be careful.
I don't pay attention to labels. Just saying.
See, we got some redheaded queens. We got some red-headed queens. We got some blind-headed queens. We got some kind of weird in-between colors in there.
Not pointing fingers at anybody or anything, right, Sean?
Actually, Jesse, Jesse, we're just teasing. But,
we girls.
We have a lot of girls in the network. We always have. It's always been like that. Actually, there's been several incarnations of the station where the men were outnumbered by the women. So, yes, it does happen. So it goes back and forth. So right now, we're kind of even, unless we count syndicated. The men are heavy right now. But the last incarnation, the women were very heavy. Not only heavy like that, dumbass. There's more of them. And
listener, seriously, doing that right now?
And then it's just like having different countries. We have 7 Canadian hosts right now. Actually, we had one UK host, now we got 2. We've got a South Korean host, an Australian host, and I think a Scottish or Irish host.
It's friendly, it's clean. All the
and somebody from South America. Oh, we're going to have a relative of mine from Venezuela is coming. He's going to start a show. I ain't going to know what the hell he's saying because he's been speaking Spanish the whole time. Whoever asked, it's going to be a Spanish-speaking show about Venezuela. He wants to help educate Americans on Venezuela. He always tells me I pronounce it wrong, so I always call it Venezuela. No, actually, he's a mayor of a town way up in some mountain somewhere. Very high-end, upscale place. Don't know what it's like right now since the collapse. But it's funny about this is him and I talk about ghosties and demons up there all the time. He says I forgot what he calls them, some Spanish name. They're like the 4 riders that come through the town and they take everybody's food and clothes and leave the villagers naked without food. I'm like, what? He said, he said that's how El Carnival got started down here.
4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Apparently,
those kind of 4 riders.
Apparently, it's the 4 horsemen that don't have no food or no clothes. But anyway, he said they don't kill anybody or even steal any village or anything. He said, but there is something that happens for the regularly. And he said, as far as lights in the sky, that's a common thing over there. I've heard that before. So, Brett told me if we wanted to come on. He goes, "You're going to charge me, aren't you?" I said, "Just because you're relative, don't mean you get on for free, buddy." I said, numbers talk and everything else just walks on down the road. Actually, Bruce, and iCard Cox does that. You don't give up on the road. Yeah, I learned that a long time ago. I was on some big radio show and I accidentally said it and I regretted it. I still regret it. I still get phone calls from it. Yeah, it's a nightmare. People just call you. What gets me, this tells you what kind of weird stuff goes on in my life. So 2 days ago, I got 2 calls for NPR. For a guest or a host on NPR. I was like, network. Today I get a call from Ray Hobbs. Race, if you listen, he's the owner of UPRN. I mean, not UPRN, KGRN. And I'm like, why the hell am I getting a call for him? Like, people, get the damn numbers straight, man. We own United Public Radio and UFO. It's not that complicated. I don't know what's going on. And then it's this afternoon, I get another phone call for a local NPR. I'm like,
what is pandemic brain?
It is pandemic brain. Well, every now and then
too much chillaxing, at home.
Well, sometimes when you do a search for the acronym UPRN, NPR comes up with us. But that's just because they've been around for so long. But I don't know why they're calling us. I mean, this guy got upset when I told him he couldn't speak to this person. I'm like, wait. He said something to me, and I said, no, you got the wrong network. He said, no, you just don't let me speak. I said, no, you got the wrong network. I said, this is United Public Radio. You're looking for National Public Radio or New Orleans Public Radio, whichever one you're calling. I said, you're calling the wrong place. No, this is the number it gave me. I'm like, I said, well, look, why don't you go back to where you were and look? I said, because this is my phone number. I said, this is the United Public Radio Maintenance Solutions phone number. I said, so, and I said, the real station number is 514-272-7379 anyway. I said, so I'm not sure what you're doing. And then he was getting indignant. And I said, don't let me hang up on you, dude. And he's like,
should have just said, how can I help you?
And then
how much do you want to pay? Okay. Do that.
He was wanting to talk to
doing it all wrong. I think he was trying to give you money.
Oh no, I think he was listening to some show on NPR, and the woman was pissing him off, and he wanted to talk to her. And I'm thinking, I ain't got nothing to do with this. Well, what the hell do you want me to do? There's nothing I can do to help you, get this woman's attention because she's not on my network. And even if she was on my network, I probably wouldn't let your himself talk to her. Oh no, Mike, you mean just type in UPRN for the station? Oh no, I'm gonna tell you something. I learned this a long time ago, and I wish I'd learned it sooner. If iCar and United Public Radio actually was UFO Paranormal at the time, we made a boo-boo. So we named these two products, and they were good. We liked the names and everything. And then one day, like 6 months later, we did an acronym search. Yeah, what bunch of dumbasses we were. Oh no, the UPRN is all kind of look up numbers, man. It's hard. They've got some of them that's got like 1 trillion hits on it. There's no way you're gonna we'll ever get up to that. And then same thing with iCar. So all I can tell you, people, when you name something, the name's great, but always check the acronym for the name before you decide what you're gonna do. Just a little friendly advice for somebody who's been through it myself. Yeah, like United Unique Property Reference Number. That's what UPRN is. That's real estate. That's been around for like 100 years in both America and Britain. It's like, yeah, it's gonna be hard to get around that. But anyway, getting back to what we were talking about. Oh, Quinn, you're right. If you type in UPR radio, we're the first thing that comes up. Unless I believe it's SoundCloud that comes up first.
And I've read the book.
And then the station does. Oh no, yeah, because SoundCloud, is killing everybody. It's Michelle's fault.
Always my fault. I own it. Whatever.
It is. No, wait. You see,
Joe, why is it Michelle's fault?
Because Amelia programs. Amelia puts these special things in the food she sends over to Michelle, and then she programs Michelle on the air with a little hypnosis, and so it's always Michelle's fault.
Okay.
Please right to me like Joe's on crack.
Yeah, I would agree.
No, really.
The real people know. So it's always Joe's fault.
Keith, no, actually, the reason I published what I did today is because I get so many letters about ghost day. First off, and I've said this, I can't tell you how many times I'm not the ghost guy. And, I'm not always agreeing that ghosts are ghosts in the first damn place. So I'm always the wrong person to write to. So we bring them up on these panels so we can talk about it. So a good friend of mine wrote to me about how he finds ghosts. He made a joint together, so he's got a little, it's like a temperature sensor and a magnetic field sensor. Really, really sensitive. Right?
Sounds like a millimeter.
So he's got it. He basically what he did melded it together. So I guess you could call it that. So he walks around with this thing, and when it trips and it does things, and he helps him. And it's never been wrong. He said every time it hits these two certain guidelines I use, he said the temperature drops more than 20 degrees, and whatever he was telling me about the magnetic field, he said I know I got something. I said okay, but what the hell do you have? He said, well, what do you mean?
It sounds like a millimeter.
My question.
It sounds like a millimeter. That does both. It's like
I actually really like the
EMF detector, and it does all kinds of things with EMF, and it does temperature, does everything.
Did you see the new one out, Michelle?
No, I have not.
It's real nice. It's very compatible.
It's
pretty cool
all the time.
Yeah.
People with what's
my
happening
God,
up there
get out. We're still in
political stuff.
Like I always say,
virus
jail.
Kind of like bums.
Yeah, they're still in hell up there.
I don't want to say the C word. Yeah, we're in virus jail. We still can't get too much of anything. So.
Yeah. Mr. Pink Shorts will not let him out. I don't know why he won't let him out. I even had dinner with him. I'm like, Justin, what's going on here?
JT has gotten
so now I guess I might not be able to talk to you soon. I'm hearing that he's going to cut off relations with the United States. Because Michigan, Michigan. Well, the Michigan governor, which I'm going to get into this much, but the Michigan governor decided she wants to cut off the pipeline going to Canada. We send y'all 500. What is it, 500 million barrels or something through it? But anyway, it's a lot of oil. And Trudeau's like, whoa, wait, excuse me, you're going to do what? He said, that will cause chaos in our country.
It really wouldn't, because Alberta more than produces enough to sustain us, but the United States and the rest of the world all have their hand in it. So I don't know what he's on about.
Well, no. What happened was when Trump was president, we became the number one producer in the world, even beating out the Saudis by far. So what we were doing was y'all were selling y'all's bitumen to certain countries. We would supplement y'all with sweet crude from the south, which is a better oil for y'all. It's cleaner burn and it's easier to refine. So yeah, it was a great thing. Canada was getting to make a lot of money, get rid of their bitumen. It wasn't coming here, and it wasn't going to y'all's country, so our air was staying clean. But unfortunately, Somebody, what did she say? Oh, it goes under the Michigan River. She said it could be a future problem.
Some of the editors back then too. They did whole pieces on
whatever.
I do.
As an author because
I do not
she was
speak
such
for
an
that
adventurer.
woman.
So
I was just like, okay, well,
all I have to say is VPN.
Major explorer. He explored all over the world at a time when people.
So people look. At this rate, you know, I mean, we may never get to see the Canadians again. I hear they might have to learn Mandarin next year. So. Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm serious about the oil thing. Yeah, that was a true statement, and he did say that if she did that, they might have to cut relationships.
It's really fun.
But the reason I bring it up is because Trudeau is famous for being a paranormal freak.
It's just something that
and I always like talking about it because first off, he looks good in pink shorts, and hot pink shorts. I mean, I don't know what he was trying to sell there. I'm not sure what he was trying to sell there, but you know, hey, the man looked good. The other day, somebody sent me it wasn't a pink shirt. At first, I thought it was like for breast awareness, but it was something else. I don't know what it was. Hot pink. He obviously likes hot pink. Not judging. Personally, I couldn't pull off hot pink, but hey, you know, if he likes it, that's all fine. But it's just fun to talk about it because, you know, first off, you know, he's going to be running around in pink, which is kind of cool. And two, you never know what's going to come out of the idiot's mouth. He's like talking to any of the other idiot world leaders. So I really think maybe he has an attachment. He has an attachment that likes pink.
And then at the Writers of the Future website,
so can we assume it's a female attachment?
Everything Writers of the Future.
Well, I don't know too many people that would remove it if it was there. Just saying, coming from somebody that could.
Well, I mean, you know, when the leader of the free Canadian world is running around some days in Duke pink shorts, you just gotta step back and say,
they're on the website.
I wonder what's going on here.
Sometimes you just have to step away from things you can never unsee.
So something happened in the last 20 years. It used to be that world leaders had class, suits, good, and then
live.
It stopped.
AMAs going on over there with famous
I'm telling you, they all have attachments. We need to figure out. That's what we need to do. We need to come up with an organization.
Something for everyone.
If you're going to be world leader, we need to know you're attachment free.
Exactly.
Because obviously some of you idiots run it.
Michelle, what was Trudeau's old man like? Was he pretty cool?
A lot of people liked him a lot. But I mean, very much like his son. I mean, he was pro-China, good friends with Fidel Castro. I mean, I remember him.
Yeah, you're in there.
Was it riding around on a World War II motorcycle with a Nazi helmet on?
Oh wow!
Just he was very erratic.
He was.
People loved him.
He was, and he used to like to bring his wife down and drop her off in Cuba and let her spend weeks down there with Castro. That's why they
would come up here.
Yeah. That's why they say that Justin's last name is Castro.
I heard that.
I didn't believe it at first, and then I was messing around with Laura Lee one day, and she sent me over a picture of Castro. He was like 30 and Trudeau. He was like 26 or something. They had I'll tell you what, if he ain't his kid, him and the daddy must be related because it was just too close. There was some weirdness going on there. I'm thinking, oh well, hey. So maybe his daddy was possessed, and then when he died, it went ahead and went to the kid.
Yes, I know that.
Because I mean, his dad. The difference is his dad had class. Well, I'm just saying, the old man had class. He was an ass. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I heard lots of
class. He was really a great dresser. He carried himself well. He really was. He was very articulate when he spoke. He was very educated. Yeah, for sure.
But that's, you know,
no.
Actually, he probably rolled over in the grave when he saw his son wearing hot pink. I could just think if it was Castro's kid, it would even be worse. Jesus. Well, maybe that's his communism.
Okay, I apologize. She was right in and tell you thank you.
I don't know. They're thinking. I'm stretching at people. What can I say?
That's just not the same.
But no, Michael, I'm going to tie this in. That's because they have attachments. That's what we're talking about. I have no doubt.
I agree with you, yeah.
I have no doubt that Trudeau's got an attachment or something. I don't know. Maybe it's a pink freak attachment. He's got an attachment.
Okay, can I just say this? He's been checked. He does not have an attachment.
It could be late October 22nd.
Okay, he's been checked like he's been probed.
And it's going to be interesting because in 2020 we didn't have an award show. Normally we fly all over.
We're not going to ask if he was wearing latex at the time.
We fly them out to Hollywood for a week-long workshop with the judges of the contest. And then at the end of the week, there's a award ceremony. So that was all missed in 2020. So 2021, we're inviting both of you.
Red's writing in from Clearwater, Texas. Hey, I've been to Clearwater a few times down there. Clearwater, in case y'all don't know, guys, Clearwater's a big place. It's one giant ass refinery is what it is. It's like 5 refineries, but they're just massive. They're bigger than cities. When you drive up on, you really think you're driving up on Houston. It's such a massive thing. Yeah, I actually have heard the flaming guys just walk in between.
It's looking more
it looks like a ghost, and it like flames on, like the ghost ride, and then flames off.
We were actually talking about
I never heard that one.
Yeah, there's supposed to be 5 of them that do it fairly regular down there.
Yeah, so
I have not personally seen it. No. Josh, a friend of mine, Josh Random, seen it one time, but I until just recently, I'll be honest with you, I had never even heard of it. He had told me about it. Yeah. He was working. I got several friends that worked at rigs back in the day, and he was working.
I got a letter from IHOP.
Was it 05? I know that's it. L5. He was working that one. They said they had seen him on a couple of nights come through there. They were working 3rd shift, and they had seen him come through. He said he had no idea what it was. He thought it was a hoax at first. Then he started hollering at somebody, "What's wrong with you, you stupid blinking bank? You notice a damn chemical refinery. You walk around and fly. What the hell's wrong with you?" And then poof, they were gone.
I heard it's just up over the hill.
One guy got one picture. I seen one. You can't really tell it's a person. It's like a 6-foot tall flame.
They didn't say when.
Yeah, well, that don't mean anything. That could be any damn thing. Yeah, I don't know. It was weird. And but they say they don't feel threatened, so no one's ever done a clear anything because no one ever. They said they don't feel like it's a threat to them. I'm thinking you got a flame and somebody walking through a gas refinery and it's not a threat. I'm thinking it might be.
Michelle.
Everybody wants to
it's Merial. Morel.
Mariel is still locked down.
Mariel.
Anyway, she's telling me about the Denver airport. Now, we've talked about the Denver airport on this show many times. I have personally, what's a ghost meter? Who knows? I don't know what a ghost meter is. Okay. See, somebody, I'm saying, ask the wrong person. So she said she's walking through there with a ghost meter, and the damn thing kept going off. And she said she gets the weirdest readings in it. And she said, and all of a sudden you'll be walking along, and the meter will go off, and then all of a sudden you feel this really cold spot, and then there's nothing. Everything's back to normal. She said, but it's not like they're moving. It's like you're moving through them. It's almost like they're stationary.
Yeah, I experienced that a lot. Yeah.
So
and
what
makes me feel weird?
I wonder if it's like, is it like a portal where the ghosts are coming in now from the other side or something, and we're just walking through them?
I think the readings would be higher if you were anywhere near a portal. I think that's
that's true too. Yeah, that is true. Morel Corral, I have no. I love that Morel Corral. Yeah. No, I have no idea. I mean. I've walked through cold spots before. Well, like the graveyard that you've heard me talk about, the 350-year-old graveyard down here while the kids are born. What's weird about that place is once you get inside the gates, it's cold inside the gates, the whole graveyard. It's usually 10 to 15 degrees colder than the surrounding area. And then that's also a place where we'll be standing out there and the fog will roll up from chest high. And then over each grave, the fog's turning like there's a barrel or something turning. Yeah, we've been out there a few times. It's a very strange place to be.
I want to go.
If anything ever touches me out there, I'm lighting the bitch on fire. I'm just telling you ahead of time. Ghosties don't want to touch me. I'm not approachable like that. Ghosties scared you to turn around. They're scared you to turn around some holy water. Be gone, bitch. Be gone. Be gone. Be gone. I'll be flinging that shit everywhere. I have some holy water mixed with some kerosene. I'll be throwing water and flame at the same time, man.
Yeah, I know y'all.
That's just like a friend of mine. We went to investigate a house one time. The kid was like 6'6". He was huge. And he said, I wanted to body slam that ghost on the back of my porch. And I said, what are you going to do? Pick up something that's not there? So if you body slam him, you're going down, not him. He's laughing at you. But yeah,
you're going to be one that hits the thing.
Did you notice
look at
on the
this.
iPad
I did a search on UPR Radio and Chasing Prophecies on the top page with us. Look at that. That's pretty good.
All right. 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm going to start charging. Well, I can't talk about their real name. I'm going to start charging Jennifer more things. No, just
we do use words.
It's no character.
No, that's cool.
Accents too.
No, we're talking about Chasing Prophecies.
Yeah.
It's not as big as this guy's.
I'll tell you what, I'm really impressed with our ratings that we're getting now.
I've been doing good.
For what we started off at another place where we only getting like 14 viewers off of SoundCloud, and now we're over 100,000. And to me, that's great. I mean, you know, and just listening to Michelle, you, and the others, man, it just, I feel part of this family, and it's all cool.
Well, we've been around for a while. Somebody asked me, I don't know how you get so many listeners from more of these other stations. I said, I've been here 22 years.
Because we're good.
That's what I said. Well, that's what I said. I said we're 22 years. We're 22 years and have had some of the biggest names in the field on this network. Of course, we're good people. And I said everybody always wants to come back. I said nobody here don't want to go. I said I've never had anybody say no, they didn't want to come here. Not once.
No, we lucked out. We really got lucky.
It's weird.
Yeah,
it's weird.
We're good. We're stable. And we're growing, which is nice. We're actually finally growing to a point where I might be able to give up my other job. Hey, know this for anybody listening that's a host. Listen. Anybody that's a host listening, not so much for the audience. Yeah, when Joe gives up his day job, that means at least some of the hosts.
Well, it's funny.
Because if we reach the point where it's covering the job I have in the daytime, that's pretty good money. So that means somebody else. I can guarantee you, when it goes to me retiring on the station, at least I know at least 3 hosts are probably
they could talk to each other
and probably a decent. But we'll wait and see. We have no reason to be greedy. And I know somebody already is getting freed out.
Sure, that's not French. I don't know what that is. That's not.
Okay, good.
I think it's July. Is it July 1st? I think it's July 1st. And I'll tell the other one when I talk to her.
Nobody else knows what they're
Yes, Bubbles is an alien. Yes, she's an alien. We've talked about this. I'm not picking up. I'm trying to. Bubbles the Gray. No, she's Michelle the Demon, and Bubbles the Gray.
Oh my!
Heavy.
Michelle is the Demon Girl.
Joe, why are you seeing a demon? I can't see no demon.
Joe, why is that exactly?
I'm gonna tell you. So if Michelle walks into a room full of demons, what do you think happens? The demons go, "Oh shit," and go the other way.
They feel like
well, that tells you that she's very
natural. She's a demon because the demons are scared of her. That's what it tells you.
Apparently, I'm much better than I figured I was.
I usually kick out my normal accent.
Yay! Thumbs up.
Yeah. One of the guys,
Christopher. Oh no! You've never seen Sean on this show before. No, hasn't been on the panel. No, Sean is from Sean Kelly's from Chasing Prophecies. We've been thinking about it. We've been thinking about moving to a later time to get a little more audience, but it's going to be hard to move now because they're doing really well in the slot. But I do have an idea about that. That I'm going to talk about now. My favorite ghost, Casper.
Casper.
He is Cajun.
He's my favorite guy. Nice and wimpy, mild-mannered ghost. Don't hurt nobody.
Little pain in the ass poltergeist is what he is.
Stay Puff. Well, I'd like to Stay Puff because I'd be slicing him out and throwing him ice cream as he's walking down the street. And he's like, whoosh, hey, Stay, how you doing, man? Go, keep going, man. Don't pay no attention to me. I squirt some chocolate on him as he's walking by. I guess you could make a flame tart out of it. I think that might be cool. Just leave that alone. No, I use actually. Well, it's different for me. See, all these people use all these ghosting tools, but I'm a contractor, so I have all these tools, but they're for contractor, not for ghostbusting. So, but I can use them for ghostbusting. I have very sensitive temperature gauge things for lasers that are really accurate. I think it's 105 below.
That's why I tell everybody.
It's weird because I can sit outside my house like today. It's 77 degrees outside. I'm pointed straight up. you'll say minus 14.
Right, see, we're doing a show right now.
That's how high. Yeah, that's how high it'll go up in the air. It's a great little tool. But we have several. We have all kind of meters for picking up electrical fields and magnetic fields because we have to work with this stuff. We have moisture meters and mold meters, and we have meters that pick up stuff that ghost people ain't even thought of using yet, and they do work. It's but we use this all the time, and we work just like the other day. So we're remodeling this 150-year-old house.
The stuff that I
and 125-year-old shed, which I still don't know why we're remodeling the shed.
Marcus, where you go?
We remodeled the whole place. Place looks great inside. Shed looks great. Whole time we're there, it's quiet, no activity. So we finish up.
Yes.
We finish up the house. The shed's about 2/3 of the way finished. We finish up the house.
I know he's got a nice.
I'm sitting in there, and I noticed.
Damn sharp office, actually.
I had a fountain drink, iced tea is what I had actually. And I noticed it kept. I set it down on the fireplace and walked off. And the boys were out front cleaning up. So when I came back around, I was sitting on the other side of the mantle. I'm like,
so this is where people.
So I looked because there was a puddle on the right side that was still cold, which means it had just been moved.
On the other side of the door,
so I'm like, okay. So I put it back
for the writers when they come to Hollywood for winning the contest.
As I was coming back, I noticed it was right back where it was, and the puddle was still cold on the side. So I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I hollered, well, who the hell's keeps screwing my drink? Leave my damn drink alone. And people look at me like I'm retarded or something. They're like, we ain't even in the house. What are you, crazy? I'm like, whatever. Stay off my drink.
Mark Hamill's up there.
So I took it in the back with me.
My finger goes.
I said, the hell with this. I'm going to bring it back. It's a shotgun house.
One of our
all the way in the back of the shotgun.
We have.
So I'm sweeping, getting the area cleaned up, finish this little texture spot on the wall. So I reach down and get my drink, take a drink, and thing is gone.
A lot of that.
Oh, wow.
So I flip on my phone camera. I say, son of a blinking drink. Better not be blinking back and blinking. I can't say anything. So I get up there, and sure enough, it's sitting there. But this time,
Isaac Asimov,
it had 5 fingerprints in it, like something had melted them in there.
There's a lot of.
So it was about, I guess, where's the camera? It's probably about the size of my hand here, maybe a little bit bigger. Because when I grabbed it, my fingers almost fit in perfect. I was like, what the hell happened here?
People
and then my partner came in and said, what the hell? How'd you get the cup melted? What are you eating your fingers at? I said, dude, the cup was in the back. I don't even know how I got in the damn front.
It was thought that maybe it would last for 10 years.
So I called a friend of mine and I said, hey, look, I think this place is a horn.
And we've had over 700 winners over 38 years that have been awarded.
He come over.
Funds the whole thing.
He put it in whatever the hell he does.
That's part of his legacy.
Says I'm bringing it home with me. So I can give it a new home. I'm like, what? He said, yeah, I'm bringing it home with me. So back in the house feels quiet now, clean up and leaving stuff around there going, so I didn't worry about it. 3 days later, he calls me. He said, don't ever ask me to come get something out of the house.
A lot of articles
blankety. Put some eggs I can't get rid of. He said it has adopted me. He says not like vicious or anything. He said, but it has adopted me. And he said it likes to open up my refrigerator and pour you drinks.
Production rate was.
He said it's funny.
So he can clear that house, but he can't clear his own house.
That's what I said. Wait, that's what he's saying. He says he tried to clear it. He said he tried to clear it, and the thing acts like it leaves, and then it's back. And he said it's funny because his girlfriend said, what are you trying to get drunk tonight? He said, you keep making more. He said, I ain't made any drink yet. So they set up a camera, and you can see these drinks being made with no one around.
Did you see the video?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah. I tried to get him to release it to the public, and he's scared that it'll cost him his job. And he works for a.
Could email it to you, and then you can.
No, they're in the entire.
You'll find those in the writer's feature on
and where they're not seeing your face, you can hear their voices. That's that. And I'm like, dude, I said, well, I'll tell you what, just he said he brought one of his voodoo princess friends. He said he's going to set up another camera and just leave it there overnight and see what happens. He said, because it's just weird. He's like I said, they're not mean. It doesn't seem even ever hateful. He said, but I did notice I was drinking cranberry juice and vodka. And he said, and he had, it's about that much of a glass. And he said, I kept coming back and the glass was never empty. He said, then I come back, one time it was packed full of crushed ice. I was like, so then I go over and kiss my girlfriend. She said, baby, take you, we keep me drinks. She said, what's that? I don't want to spoil it. She said, she looked over at me like, what are you, stupid or high? Which one? There's a lot of build-up. I was like, baby, she said, you made me like, she said, I ain't made you fucking drinking. What are you, you're on crack. And she said, I ain't done anything for you. She said, remember, I'm still mad at you from yesterday. And he was like, then he remembered she still was mad at him for something he'd done the day before. So, you hear these little stories and these little weirdnesses that go on in people's lives. And part of him said he never did want to get rid of. I do have 2 friends right now that live with ghosts. They seem to be fine. Got one that has what I call a half-ass poltergeist. Likes to move shit around the house.
Well, I would get contact
especially car keys.
Out of my face.
It likes to move keys around and stuff like that. I'd be like, look, Ghosty, you want to live in my house? Fine. You start moving my car keys around, your ass is getting evicted. I will have you removed immediately. I know, not looking for car keys. I hang the bitches on the side of something, so I know where they are all the time.
Well, not all hauntings are bad. This house is extremely haunted, and it's fine. You just have to get used to the little intrusions, like people walking into the room when you're in the shower, things like that.
That's good. Say, get
delightful. It's delightful. Yep.
Oh wow.
Yep, it happens.
Well, there's a story about.
I got a friend who got books out.
What the hell's his name? He played in Face Off.
I might do it.
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage. There's a story. Nicholas lived in a really haunted house. I mean, he lived in a haunted house where this woman used to walk up and down the stairs and all these things.
He's into that stuff.
He is into it, but not enough because he sold the house and moved over.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, so they said this thing used to come get in the shower with him and stuff. So the story goes that his maid or his whatever, the house girl was there.
It's a tough
he was in the shower, and house girl said she kept hearing moaning, sex or something. And then all of a sudden he come running out. This guy was screaming, blah blah blah. She said, I was laughing because he was screaming, I don't swing that way. What's going on? And she said, I just looked at him like it's crazy because I didn't see anybody in the shower. And she said, I did notice there was water like it was running off of someone's shoulders standing in the shower. And then you could see, I seen something step forward because the shower went all over the entire body. She said, I realized it was an invisible man, basically.
I know I shouldn't be laughing, but oh my God.
So she said, Nicholas looked over at her. Did you see that? She said, yeah, I saw everything. And he said, I'm not. She said, I didn't think you were Mr. Cage. I don't know what to think about this.
Hey, who's judging?
Well, so the story leaked. The story leaked a couple of weeks later, like within 2 months after they sold this house.
Wow. Yeah, that would be a little intense. Here it's just like there's
like, did you
Here there are little children in the house. They're not always here, and it's usually when Ween's in the shower, and he'll just, he'll see the door move, and he'll say, hey, it's private time, and then they leave. So it's everybody here is pretty respectful. Anything that wasn't very nice, I've removed. And then, now that, we do regular clearings, we stay on top of even more of it. So things really don't get in at all. It has to happen because the house is just like, it's pretty haunted.
I don't know if Lori and Dell's got their internet yet. I hope they do. No, I don't know why they're not here tonight. They usually are. She had a fit with her internet company like 2 weeks ago because she was having problems. So she got a new package and they had to rerun everything, wiring and all kind of shit. So when they start doing construction, you never know what kind of disaster.
She did post on her Facebook earlier, but she's probably just trying to get up and running for her show.
Yeah, she does, and I know they got stuff going on. Julia and Phil will be coming up in an hour. Yeah, there'll be Rob Gritro or somebody's on with them tonight. No, I sent him invites. Actually, no, I didn't. I forgot. Actually, I did not send him invites. I'll have to apologize for that. Actually, no, I can see it. Hers is queued up. I just never sent it.
There's a little town. Can't remember the name of it.
That's what I just forgot. I got to get used to it being in the queue.
And there's a little town nestled
Randy Limps. What's up, Randy? Where you from?
Alabama, Georgia.
Knock. What's up there in Knockers? Yeah, we all know New York is haunted. Haunted with idiots, apparently, but haunted.
A lot of idiots.
I don't have a favorite ghost story from New York. No, I don't. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, don't take this the wrong way, but y'all don't send me those stories about, she was walking in the rain in her ball gown along the highway. Every state, every county for that matter has got that story. They may be true,
downside to it,
at least some of them, but in general, it's made up bullshit. I'm not saying it didn't originally happen somewhere. I'm just saying that there's too many of them stories. It's not adding up there. It's not just that. I get other ones.
People up in the South, I've been doing 10 years. I'm doing 80 miles an hour.
I get issues with those. Yeah, because I would think ghosts would be different because it's a personality thing. So I would think each state's ghost would be different. So yeah, you got hit on a really diddly curve in the rain. Now you're walking on the curve in the rain. Why would you want to do that if you were a ghost? I would be like, bitch, it's raining out here. Why don't you go home? I guess if you're that angry or that lost, I don't know. I'm just saying from my point of view, I'd be like, ghost, go home.
Do you remember that movie, Lady in Black? Remember that one?
Yes.
Oh my God! The next day I got 35 emails saying everybody saw this Lady in Black, and I was like, no, you didn't. I'm like, please.
Look, I remember what was that movie that came out, the Blair Witch Project. Oh my God! I got people in the swamp saying, I said, people. One lady told me all about this stuff. I said, let me tell you something, sweetheart. I said, I had been all up in that swamp. At 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, 5 in the afternoon, 6 in the morning, lunchtime, breakfast time. I've been all through that damn swamp. I said, none of that shit exists back there. Oh, I'm telling you. I said, well, take me to the spot. I said, because I've been all over that swamp. That swamp's huge, and I've been all through it. I said, I've seen some hairy, scary stuff back there, but nothing like what you're talking about. Because I just call people out there. On some things, I just know it's BS before it even gets started. And some, like the reptilians walking around the water outside the French Quarter, that was a strange thing. And I would have called that as BS if it wouldn't have been for the National Guard and the LPD. All together, I can't remember all together. I think there's either 11 or 14 witnesses, and half, half National Guard, half a couple of them actually
show up all over the place.
They do, and a couple of them were actually involved in training scenarios where they took them to malls. This was an interesting thing. This whole scenario was interesting.
The reptilians?
Because the reptilians were showing humans how when the big chill comes, whatever you want to call it, whatever this goes down. They were showing how to take people and make makeshift prisons.
So what are you talking about?
And be able to hold people, and recycle people, and do whatever they need to them. So they took them to these malls. Well, Oakwood's a big mall, and this is like a big monster mall with probably 200 stores in it. Well, all of them have to pull down steel gates, and they all have steel frames with bring back walls. They make great jams, by the way. So you pull it down, lock the cage, you ain't getting out anywhere. You're stuck. And even if you can kick to the sheetrock, you're never going to get through the brick walls on each end or in the back. And the fronts are all steel cage. There's no way out. They were great. I never even had thought about using a mall as a prison, but it's a pre-made prison. And I'm pretty sure our governments are aware of that. I'll tell you something else that I stumbled across. We've been getting these weird containers on these trains coming through here. They're rectangular shapes, and they're either made for underwater or underground. They got these weird doors. And they got these weird balls that connect them all together. And we see them being shipped all the day. Well, the other day I stumbled across the staging area. And it's on a military base with no name, no markings, one gate wrapped in bushes, trees, and fences. So I'm going to hop Google Earth later today and see if I can track whatever this is down. This is just weird. I don't know what this shit is. And we've been watching this for like 4 years now. They're building something on the ground or underwater somewhere. And they're building it's massive, whatever it is. And I better shut up before they come building on my head. But I don't know. We've been watching, it's like a long time ago, a friend of mine had sent me a picture of a train.
So we also
have, you're full of shit. And then I got hold of a FEMA friend of mine. He said, no, he's not. So in case you don't notice, ladies and gentlemen, there are about a half a dozen trains in the United States that are up to 9 miles long that are prison trains. They're flatbeds with little 4x4 cubicle cells attached. I think there's like 12 or 16 to a flatbed. They just put you in there, lock the door, and transport you wherever you're going.
It just helps with reading.
It's something I didn't even know they existed. We do know we've heard about FEMA camps in the past. We've seen them set up. We've seen what was going on before. So we know our government can do these things. We just never seen them do it en masse. A lot of people were getting worried on the COVID that something like that might happen. But fortunately for Americans, we're very resilient and we're easily pissed off. So our government has to where other countries can get a much faster grip on the population. It's hard here because we're hard-headed. We don't listen.
We are. Yes,
you
we
know,
are.
you know, you're gonna have to shoot us to make us stop. So if you start killing citizens by the tons, that ain't gonna fly real well. And the military, everybody thinks, oh, well, I can do a military; it'll take over. No. Actually, most of the military is not going to back a government that wants to kill the people. They're just not going to do it. They're going to be like, yeah, whatever. We're not going around killing people all over the place. So, and that would make a lot of sense. Like Dave's, every time I go there, I see ghosties walking around. You know, I got to say something about that too. So I'm in X. I'm doing this like the third time I've been to DC, 4 times. X conference 9 or 10. So we leave the X conference. It's about 1 in the morning. For anyone who's ride down to Gettysburg, it's about an hour, I think, from where we were.
Yeah.
I'm like, sure, I'm tired with hell. You know, I got to get up at 6 in the morning, but okay, let's go. So we get in. And on the way, we stopped and got we actually had to go find a place. We couldn't buy it anywhere because I guess these towns closed, you know. So we found some bar that was open, but they didn't sell drinks. They sell bottles and Coke, and you mixed your own drinks. I was like, okay, whatever. Just give us the booze. We out of here. We just want the booze. We don't care what day you do it. So anyway, we get down there, and I'm sitting in the car, and I'm just kind of leaning back in the car, chilling. And there's like 4 of them walking around in this big open field. I don't even know where the hell we were, actually. I just know we were on one of the battlefields. And I'm kind of just leaning back, light up a cigarette. Yes, that's when I still smoke, people. I light up a cigarette, and I'm sitting there. It sounded like gunfire or cannon fire off in a distance. I'm like, well, that makes sense being where we are. So then I see one of the guys, he's like out in the middle of the field. You see what looks to be this blue blobish glowing thing. Just some bitches hauling ass back to the car. I ain't never seen a big boy run that fast in my whole life, man. He run so far when he hit the car, he actually broke one of the lenses on the glass. I was like, dude, calm down. He said, you didn't see it? I said, yeah, I seen some blobby, bluey, sparkly thing out there. It kind of reminded me of the picture Bubbles sent me. And it's so I'm like, he said, well, what do you think it is? I said, I don't know. Obviously, it was interested in you because it seemed like it followed him up until the edge of the field and then stopped. It was like we noticed this on a couple of occasions when we seen stuff out there. It would never leave the edge of the field. So a couple of occasions we just decided to start stopping right there, so it would come almost up to your face, and you could step back and forth, but it would never cross that one spot. So is that really a ghost, or is that some kind of energy being held there inside this area?
No, it's really a ghost. That's really a ghost. Can I tell you why? Can I share a couple of stories?
Yes, please.
Okay. I go to Gettysburg every year for the last 22 years. And I love it up there. But there's 2 stories I'd like to tell the audience and you guys. The first one was we were at the wheat field. That's where the Irish got their hands handed, their butts handed. They got, it was a massacre, 69th New York.
And that's what I mean. So it didn't matter where you come from.
But what happened was I had a CD, and it was the Chieftains. They're Irish. And so I put it into my car, and I, turned the CD on. And all this Irish music started to play. And as God is my witness, I saw all kinds of orbs, mist. They were like going nuts. And once when I quit playing, when I quit playing the music, it all dissipated. I believe that the wheat field, the way it stays, especially on the road, they can't leave that spot. That's where they died. To me, that's their border right there. I don't think they're allowed to cross wherever to any other part of that battlefield. The second story I'd like to share with you, it's pretty cool. There's a bridge down there. It's part of the battlefield, but it's further away from it. It's called Sachs Covered Bridge. And the bridge,
see, one thing too, he wrote in all the different
when the Confederates decided to go back down into Virginia, all the deserters were hung on this bridge.
Air adventure, military adventure, romance, Western.
So I was on there one night, and as God is my witness, I got knifed in the back, and nobody was around.
Mystery stories.
A thing about a scratch about
because
that
he understood
thing
people,
on my back.
he was able to write stories that were so appeal to you now.
And then come to find out,
technology changes,
the
people
soldier
don't.
was from Tennessee.
People with good, a good heart.
So knowing me, I started talking to the guy.
And the people that are just schmucks,
he pissed me off, so I talked
today
to
as they
him.
were back then.
But I left him a cigarette and I left him a match. And every time I went back there, I'd give him a cigarette. And my God, he would light up all the meters, the K2s, the whole 9 yards.
Hundreds of stories on there, books and audio.
I just wanted to share those stories. I love Gettysburg.
Between the books and audio books, there's like 400 on there.
Yes,
it really is. It's an experience just in itself, just being there with the history. It has a whole feel about it, just as it is at any given time of the day. You know that you're surrounded with a lot of residual energy, such as waves in the atmosphere, and you know that there's always eyes on you.
Yeah, that's
also.
the point. Yeah,
I got something for y'all. Have y'all ever seen?
I know y'all been watching me scroll through and listen. You notice I don't need to record it on, so y'all go.
No.
The reason I ask is I've had a couple of reasons. This is something a fairly new phenomenon. I shouldn't even be talking about because now it'll be all over every freaking radio network on the planet. It seems like a fairly new phenomenon, but I've had a couple of. One time I was somewhere and I looked at something. When it looked back at me, I thought it was me. I was like, not me today, but definitely me from a different time period. And I was like, am I seeing through time? Am I seeing a ghost? Or what the hell am I seeing? But to be honest with you, at the time, when I was young, I just kind of let it slide out of my head as, man, that's just bullshit. Too much alcohol, maybe some marijuana. God only knows back then. Because I did all kinds of things. So I just let it slide. But just recently, I've had some fairly big researchers tell me that they've seen themselves haunting a particular place. I was like, well, that's confusing to me. I said because isn't the ghost your soul? I said, unless it's residual energy, then it doesn't matter. I said, because if it's you, then how the hell are you here if you're haunting somewhere?
Unless, like you say, it's an imprint.
But you can generally tell. I mean, even before I met the crowd I hang out with these days, I can kind of tell. But with all of y'all on the network, for me, a residual implant, something I'm just going to notice right off the bat. It's going to loop, or it's going to do something that allows you to know that this is what this is. But like in Jessica's case, she said she had a full conversation with herself, and she said the more they talked, the more sense that I got.
Okay, what about a mimic?
That's possible. See, that's what I'm saying.
A demonic mimic of sorts. I could see that. I mean,
she said towards the
end.
Yeah, she said towards the end of the conversation that she started feeling. She said that she started feeling pissed off towards the end of the not who she was talking to, but herself. She said, she said there was no way. She said, first off, it was just weird because it felt like her. She said, plus, she knew intimate knowledge about this life that she was living. But I had no knowledge of this woman whatsoever. She said, and I didn't feel an attachment to like I was, Hanaway Jane back in the Wild Wild West. She said, it just didn't feel like that to me. I said, well, I don't know. I said, Jessica's going to be any damn thing. And I did. I listed about 10 things it could be. I said, but I really don't know what it is. I said, it could be some kind of spirit playing a trick on you. It could be a demon. It could be I said, there's a lot of stuff that's going to actually be. Or, you drink too much, smoke too much, or you're just losing your freaking mind. That's always within the realm of possibility. When people start seeing things, as a researcher, I always want to assume that they really are seeing things. But over the years, I have found out that, about half really aren't seeing anything. It is just in their head. And I'm not a psychologist. I can't go around telling people, let me help you with this. All I can tell them is, you need to go see a psychologist or someone like that. Because it's not something we do. We recommend on an average year, probably 50 or 60 people a year we recommend to a psychologist or to a doctor. Because sometimes people will tell me stuff that I've heard before that I know is a particular kind of health issue. So I'm kind of like, well, y'all need to, get out and get it done and get it taken care of. Because one lady was telling me about this weird. She was feeling lightheaded. She was getting this ringing in her ears, and she was getting winded. And she was blaming it on the aliens. I said, "No, baby, you sound like you might have clogged artery or something. You need to go get checked out." This went on for about a month, and she finally, her kid was talking to me. I said, "No, she needs to go get checked out." He brought her, and she had a clogged artery. And I would have killed her too. Doctor said I would have killed her. He said, "Why did you know?" I said, "Because I had one myself in the past." I said, "That's why I knew."
But you know what? You could have if you live in a location or you're in a location with high levels of EMF. Like I've always used even carbon monoxide detectors investigating old houses or homes because if you have levels of that, you're going to hallucinate. It makes you hallucinate carbon monoxide, right? Even at low levels, right?
That's why whenever I investigate, before we even start, we go down to the fuse box and we check out the wiring that's actually inside the house.
Furnace for carbon monoxide, slow leaks and stuff like that. I mean, we've seen it happen. I've seen it happen. I'm just like, Jesus, like, check this out. I mean, there's some people who will even have, home inspectors on the team just to go in and really thoroughly go through a place like with a fine-tooth comb, just to be sure that it's all, everything logical is as it should be, and then you can at least eliminate some of that stuff. But I don't know, it sounds to me like the hallucinations, or she's just got, one through the hallucinations, whether it's on her part or whether it's something in the area in her space that's causing her to hallucinate, medications that's causing her to hallucinate, or a malevolent entity that can easily shapeshift into anything, leading her to believe. It's like leading people to believe that they're communicating with a loved one, or a child with another child, right? Like,
the whole area right now is just ridiculous.
Those sound like more probable than speaking to yourself. Unless, I don't know, man, time travel, it's a thing, apparently. It's like, it's a thing, apparently. I don't know, it's a whole other thing, but
it seems to be a thing.
It is. Like,
hey, can I ask one more question? Is it possible to have a past life regression when you're alive? And I'll tell you why. Because I honest to God see myself over in Vietnam getting shot. And so I was wondering, is it possible to have a past life while you're still alive?
Really and truly.
Well, you can have past life of a past life, yeah.
Like I said,
I don't know about in the current life, but
in the current life,
you can be alive and see stuff in your past lives. That's fairly common, but it's still it's a strange event.
It freaks me out.
I mean, apparently, the soul, the spirit can split many times. Aside from that, but you would be in a different body, so that would be a little bit strange. So, you have a twin that you know of?
Okay. Let me reread this question.
Yeah, because that would be something also, identical twin that you didn't know about, and maybe, I don't know, it's very strange. Sometimes, again, if it's Vietnam, where you get like a DNA imprinting of ancestors, like ancestral lines, where you carry forth some of those traits and memories. Sometimes people say, well, this is a past life thing, whereas maybe it's an ancestral memory. That's just printed into your DNA. Yeah, but all good points and bad points. Good memories, bad memories. I know it's fascinating just to research it. There's just so much to it, but it makes a lot of sense.
Yes, thank you.
One of the gentlemen from Alabama.
Stay away from you, demon.
How you went about getting the book distributed out. He was curious.
She's not a demon, man. She's an angel.
Sounds like an interesting story.
She's an angel in horns. It's you ever heard that song? I'm on the righteous side of hell, or the righteous side of hell. That's Michelle, man.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
Good song. What do you mean? That's a good song.
Rough night of sleep there.
Definitely
trying to live up to my namesake.
We had a list of schools.
Now I can't remember who sings the damn song now.
Send your little friend.
No, they leave me alone.
Maybe
they always think of my barbecue.
The westerns and
so you think.
The military.
The aliens and demons and ghosts who say, Joe eats anything. We're not going we're lunch or something.
Just wait till he has a couple of drinks and we'll just
please
mind mess them a little bit.
Then I'm definitely surely going to eat their asses or something.
Fiona would know.
Oh, God, Fiona.
Demon dog.
She would She's so weird. Sometimes she will go in a barking frenzy, and sometimes she just looks at things like the corner, like, yes. Like, what the hell are you looking at, dog? She's just staring her ass up.
They know.
Cats.
Animals are natural seers. They can see all kinds of stuff, just like children. It's just we as adults who seem to miss all the good stuff.
Well, because as adults, we teach ourselves not to believe.
And we're busy too. Life doesn't allow us to pay attention. I always use the example, much of like what you were talking about when you had the cup at work. If you left a cup on the table and went to work and came home and it was moved, would you have enough sense to say, oh yeah, I left the cup on the table and it moved? Or would you just say to yourself, oh yeah, I forgot to put the cup away? Most people are so busy in life that you just don't pay attention to those little details.
They wouldn't catch it. They would let it slide. A lot of things already in place. They would be like, oh no, it probably wasn't there. That's the biggest problem with all humans is they question themselves on things they shouldn't question themselves on, things they know they're right on, but because it's out of the norm,
right?
They're going to question themselves, which is, I mean, I understand why they do it. I just don't think it's. I think we should have more faith in our abilities. But if you grow up your whole life, someone telling you you're a dumbass or this, that, and the other thing,
yes, that is true. That's true.
Overall thing,
and I do notice too that ghosties and demons like to be around broken people. Maybe it's an attraction for them, or maybe the torment of the broken person allows them in. I have no idea, but I do notice that a lot of broken people seem to have things in their lives. I hate to use
I think they can amplify them also.
And they may
I think they can.
Their energy. Their energy's like wide open, so the spirits and the ghosties and demons are right on them in a heartbeat.
It's so easy to attach to somebody like that because a lot of times they're not even realizing that something has come in because they're just, they have their own issues to work with, or they're broken in certain ways, and you're just dealing with day-to-day life or existence of depression, anxiety, PTSD, there's a whole list of things. And these things come in, they feed off of it. They amplify it. They cause a lot more negativity within the household. So, they keep you from thinking about it. They suppress you to the point where you're not sleeping properly, you're not eating properly, and you're not getting along with anybody. So you're isolating everybody. So people can't even make you aware from the inside out or the outside in that things are going wrong.
Right.
It's pretty sad.
Yeah, it is.
It is. It's a joiner report. No, that's from today. Goofy people ever sent me that. Demons, and demons. No, see, Christopher. Yeah, you can find this. No, you can't find us on United Public. Yes, I know we were bitching about going here, but you can't. So don't worry about it no more. Just put it out of your mind. Go to your Paranormal Radio.
Look, you get set up help out.
Well, I'm trying to get y'all trained over there. We had a good chat room going on United Public until someone over there at YouTube had heart failure about something. But
I know. I'm always
actually, Marcus, I'm becoming anti-YouTube. I gotta be honest with you. I'm slowly but surely becoming anti-YouTube.
Because they won't let them out up there.
I used to think it's a bunch of BS, but have to deal with it myself. Has taught me that it is not.
They must be banned.
No, there's other places. We're still on YouTube. We're going to be on BitTube and other places besides that. Anyway, what is your question? Before I see you scrolled up so much I can't see anything.
Copy and paste. There you go, Chris. Maybe you could use that. Yeah.
What single piece of equipment could get rid of a possession or a ghost? No, it's not the same thing. A ghost is a ghost. A possession is a possession. So what piece of equipment could get rid of a ghost out of your house? Is it hostile, not hostile? It's just a ghost. So you got Casper floating around in your house.
I know. They're all great people over there, Alex.
I don't think that there's a specific piece of equipment that can do that. Your mindset can do that for the most part. Retraining yourself. Acknowledgement is empowerment. I always say it. You are in control. You just have to say what you mean what you say, follow through, and
you are what you haunt. Or what you eat, sorry.
That's loaded.
We'll just leave that all together.
The whole other show?
That's pretty much what that is.
Online workshop, which has, and that's for free for anybody.
I agree with them. I don't think there is one piece of equipment other than your brain. I have to agree on
live workshop.
Angels. I work with angels.
Trying to make it a little more more people.
So you're asking me about paranormal equipment. So you mean like spells or wands or talismans is what you're asking. Okay. That's not equipment.
But it's still mindset. It's still mindset. You still have to believe in the spell and put merit into it. You have, even when you're doing it, cleansing yourself, if you don't put any power behind the words that you're using, or if you don't have strong intention behind the act of the cleansing itself, it's going to be completely futile.
Right.
Julia says anytime that she gets a ghost or she tries to get him out of the house, she always feels exhausted for days afterwards.
They drain you.
Yes, they do. Yes.
So do you feel, let me ask you this, do you feel drained when it's there all the time, or is it just after you got rid of it? So over a period of time, you feel better. Okay, that makes sense. I'm just asking. I didn't want you to get confused there.
No, some spirits are really draining, non-human entities for sure. But I've seen myself at investigations where I feel exhausted and really thirsty, really dry. And the further away I get from that location, I start to wake up a little bit, and then you just obviously quench your thirst with lots of water. But did you find that too, Sean?
Yeah, but it's not drink; it's food. I get really hungry, and if it's really tired, I have to go get. This is the truth. I have to get chocolate chip pancakes.
Originally,
that is my food. That's my to-go food to have chocolate chip pancakes.
I like
when I go clear out a house. Yes.
We now know that
New York
Sean's
Times
being
best-selling
possessed by a
authors,
12-year-old.
and we have thousands of people that enter the contest every year. And
I have the same problem.
a lot of them would write in on the chat saying, "Oh my gosh,
sometimes
I love the trophy, I love the prize money, but I really want to get into that exclusive."
Don't even get me started on that because I was in Mobile. I need
the workshop to be able to win the contest.
Alabama. Yes, I was in Pensacola, Florida house shop.
So a few of the judges got together, David Farland.
They got this great little restaurant down. It's just a little diner. Man, they made the best waffle I've ever eaten in my life.
A lot of people recognize the Pirates of the Caribbean.
But the problem is that every time I buy this place,
Scott Card, who enters game. So we did
videos. I just want to buy one, throw it in my backseat, and bring it home with me. But this place is kind of weird. It's like a 50s setup diner, right? So you can tell the place is new because of where it's at. But it's set up like a little 50s
some of the
diner.
essays that John mentioned earlier from L. Ron Hubbard.
Maybe the jukebox is haunted.
And put it
awesome.
together.
It's original,
so
you get this sense of
quality of stories that are now coming into the contest have gone up like a whole new
A couple
level.
of times I heard people talk about they thought they saw someone
People who've
dancing.
been entering for so many years that
And there's a
the
dance
quality of
floor
their
in
writing
there.
has increased
Sometimes
after taking
the seats
this
have
online
the fronts of
workshop.
cars on. Sometimes
So we
the
wanted
lights will
it
come
for
on
free
the cars.
because
They're
the
not
contest
supposed to,
itself
by the
is
way,
free
but
to
they do.
enter. It's a
Anyway,
goodwill thing.
guy who owns the place,
It's
he has no
something
idea
that L.
why he
Ron
does
Hubbard
it.
set up, and he set it up to pay it
It's an
forward to the
interesting
new
place.
aspiring author. So that's why the course
Just a restaurant is all it is. But anything along the Gulf South is weird anyway, because you never know, how old the land was right there. What was on there ahead of
over 100 countries.
time. Was there a boogeyman place there? Was there a graveyard? They're famous for burying over old graveyards in Indian
all over the world for the most
Yeah,
part.
so, I mean, you just never know for sure what the hell it is that you might be around.
That's amazing.
It kind of bites when it's like that, but what can you do?
He has to get into every show. He has to
progress.
Okay, good.
People, well, no, see, it's different down here. Jenny, Jessica, I'm sorry.
He likes to sit
Because we have
behind me.
above ground
Guys, you really
graveyards, so
should.
it's a little bit harder
It's good.
to
It's well
not
done.
notice there's a
You've done
graveyard
it
there.
unless you're
It's big, man.
from
It's not
pro
like
light.
it's
I'm
just
not even saying you might
headstones.
not pick up something
These
like
big,
that.
massive
I would
graves.
take
These
it
people
forward.
spend
Especially
lots
if
of
you
money.
Mausoleum.
want to get into writing,
Yeah. Well, they
you
got
should
mausoleums,
check
and
out
then they got mini mausoleums,
Again,
and they
it's
got big
free.
ones and small ones. But
Emily's not
basically,
trying
what
to
these
be
are is they
popular.
build these, depending on how much money they got.
I gotta be honest,
And you can
guys,
tell
I've
which
been
families
really
have the most. They'll
proud
build
of
these
that.
rooms. They'll be 30 feet long,
So,
20 foot high, 2 stories
I'm
tall.
thinking, there could be
And
influence in their
they're all
pockets there,
marble
and
or
they're not.
granite.
And Emily's real good. She'll
Beautiful,
answer your
beautiful
questions.
angel
So,
statues on them, beautiful
try not to drive
gremlins,
them
whatever they
crazy.
may have on them. They're just
But
gorgeous.
still,
That's why they call it the city they
I
did.
keep saying, guys,
Because when you're
guys
walking
go,
through it, it looks like a
go
little
there,
mini
take the
city.
course. I mean,
Like
you're gonna enjoy it.
one of them Japanese cities you'd see that
Not real
Godzilla
hard,
was
it's not
stomping
real
on and had it
frustrating. I thought
downsized. And it kind of looks like that when you're in it. Except for everything's, several hundred years old.
I like gargoyles.
They had lots of too. Well, they had a business going on down here for decades until the cops called people going in the cemetery, stealing all these statues and selling them
Right now,
and making bank on them.
No, you would for sure. That's why you have to make them so heavy you can't move them. I have a big cast iron gargoyle. The thing weighs a darn ton. Good luck trying to take that sucker.
Whatever's in my head,
Yeah, that's like Kathy's 1,000 pound
It's in the house.
Yeah.
So I still get this image stuck in my head, by the way. So Kathy has 2 big crystals. She got 1,000-pound crystal and a 750-pound crystal. She lives on top of a hill in Hawaii somewhere, by the ocean. So somehow the 750-pound one escaped, rolled down the hill and smashed into the side of the road.
Oh my!
Oh,
Wow.
She won't tell me how it escapes. There's big crystals.
How does one crystal that big escape, so to speak?
I think it was trying to move itself, all that quartz.
Or could be getting enough energy. Hawaii is crazy too. Very active, great energy.
I think she said that one was a smoky quartz.
Y'all should also
all quartz crystals it's like a double-edged sword. It can protect you, but it also absorbs energy as well.
It does.
It can basically drain you.
Yep, it can. It can go two ways for sure. Most people use it for protection and for to amplify your energy, so it protects. But it can. I mean, if you have quartz under the house, like people that I know, it does amplify everything, and it attracts other things. Like, I think that's part of the reason the house is so
yeah, it's not quite the way it was back in the day.
That's interesting.
But guys, get out there.
Yeah.
Them crazy people who live in Arkansas, like in Denham Springs, what is it?
For y'all.
Hot Springs. This place is great. It's great. Got great springs in it. Got all kinds of great water. There's so much crystal that people have chunks. Like this, massive chunks, and they line their front yard and around their house with it. So they'll touch it, and there'll be several different kinds of quartz. Beautiful, massive crystals that have geodes, mixed in and cut. We got a frog that's going to join us tonight. Well, hello, Mr. Frog. Get out of here. He's
trying to hone in on the airtime.
He's possessed. It's a possessed frog. People, you see things that deal with possessed frogs.
Frog wants his airtime. Give it to him.
I'm going to send his ass a bill when I'm going to send him. Say, look there, Mr. Frog. Where's your dues at, buddy? Get on the dues here. Yeah, he's been in this window all day. We've been trying to catch his ass.
So now we got to get out of here.
We've come across a lot of places that have had quartz underground, and it amplifies the activity. Like tremendously, which makes it really hard for clearing people because let's face it, you can't just go dig out all the quartz. So then it becomes, it's a real mindset thing at that point. I mean, this house is just as guilty of it. There's all kinds of it, and it attracts, I think, ET as much as it does spirits.
Sure, baby. I like watching it.
What part of Canada are you from? May I ask?
I've just relocated to the Niagara region.
Okay.
Well, basically,
it's really active. Mind you, anywhere I've ever lived has been really active. But I lived about 45 minutes north of here. I've been there for the last 30 years. Ontario, basically.
Okay.
And
I'm
the book
from
itself is kind of like
I love Pennsylvania. It's probably one of my most favorite states. I love
people you're reading, the top science fiction fantasy writers in the world.
I have a friend there who owns 100 hotels. In Linesville,
the best of the best.
Pennsylvania.
The people are writing and writers of the future. So
it's great. Pegasus is amazing. She's really within my inner circle. I adore her. But yeah, so I love it. I've been to all kinds of places through Pennsylvania, and it's just like I've never been to one place that I don't love. I really do.
All the stories, if you like westerns, 32 westerns.
It is. It really is.
None of the blue state won't be for like. Let's move on.
Fantasy science fiction, about 30 of those.
I just thought I'd throw that in there, that little burn.
Those are amazing stories. There's about 20 of those.
It's weird. It's a strange thing because you would think so. California, I can understand when you get to the heartland, to the middle of the country west. I can understand why there's not as much activity.
I can tell you the price very affordable for anybody to get it.
The East Coast and the lower part of the South, because we've been here 300-400 years. A lot of activity down here.
But Pennsylvania is really historically. I mean, it's rich with pioneers.
We consider Pennsylvania.
Their history was made there.
They're considered part of the Upper East Coast.
So y'all know,
there's a little cluster up there. It's got Maine, New Hampshire, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Maryland, D.C. It's all just the upper corridor is basically what it is. But in that little corridor, there are 62 million people in that little area. It's not that huge of an area. It's like a quarter the size of Texas. It should just be one massive state, is what it should be.
Everything's big in Texas.
Texas is crazy.
Isn't that the motto? Everything's big in Texas.
Crossing Texas is actually a job.
Why is that? Why is that, Joe?
Because it takes a minimum of a day to get across the bitch. And it depends which way you go. Here goes our frog again. If you go interstate,
frog? Is that seriously a frog? I used to have a parrot that made that kind of noise.
Yeah, he's a frog. He's one of them. So weird. Now, y'all tell me what this means. So,
sounds like a cockatoo.
The first 3 years we owned this place, the first 3 years we lived in this house, twice a year it would get covered in green and yellow frogs. So the very first time we ever pulled up here in the evening time,
but you understand,
wow, did we get some of the house?
But these
it's green instead of blue.
You're listening to a movie. It's like you're listening to a movie with these audio
covered,
and you
completely covered.
Wow.
And then for 3 years they did it, and then for 3 years they did, 3 years they didn't, and then this year we started noticing they were coming back. I have no idea what attracts them. I know in the beginning because there was nobody here, so there was never any air conditioner heaters running, so whatever the temperature of the house was. But now, we live in it, so it's always climate control. It was weird. It was weird. The green frogs came in the spring, and the yellow frogs came in the fall. And I looked them up. I wanted to make sure it wasn't fucking poisonous because they were all over my damn house. And I just noticed it was funny because I was just telling you, that's weird. I haven't seen the frogs lately. And the green one jumped in the back door into the house. He's like, hell, here I am. I was like, down the window going, nah, you shouldn't have said that, asshole.
Alan Hubbard was a pilot as well.
So now you got a renegade frog in the house. Wow.
He's not even in the house. He's just sitting at the back window. He's actually that loud through a double insulated window.
Wow. Let's get Fiona out there. She'll chase him off.
Fiona's sleeping. She's like, I don't care about the damn frog. She's like, she's exhausted because she's been on the road. She was on the road all day yesterday. She's been road dogging it. And then we tell her we went to get something to eat. She's bye bye. Boom, she's in the car. So we pull back in the house. She's looking around like, what kind of bye bye is this? This ain't bye bye. This is like, we went to the store. What the hell? Let me out of this car. She was not a happy dog, man. She's like, I thought we was going bye bye. This is not bye bye. This is something.
Now I like the car. I expect to be.
I just got to get her over there. Huffing for 2 hours.
Well, I'm telling you, I'll come out. I'm going to be out in LA this fall.
The other stuff worked good, but it didn't work long. She got over it real fast. So the next one is the rescue. Sorry, guys, this ain't about ghosties, but I got a dog that likes to hyperventilate when we're driving.
Oh wow.
Rescue remedy works good.
Yeah,
so for pets.
That's the next one on the list we're going to try. And we're getting her a stroller for going in and out of places. She stays. She stays in the basket. She's been in like 7 or 8 baskets, and she'll get all cute, and everyone's looking at her and stuff. And she's not like Mother Two; she won't bite you, but. If I get too far, because we were in Lowe's' parking lot, and Linda was behind me, and I was walking a little faster to go unlock the car. I got too far ahead. She leaped out of the basket into the parking lot and was hauling ass for
days. I got to zip her in.
Yeah, so traffic. So now that's why we're getting one of those, so she can't get out. Because she had no qualms at jumping down and running. I'm like, sweetie, dog, we're in the middle of Lowe's parking lot, big trucks all over the place. Maybe you crazy dog. You'll end up squished, is what you'll end up. I don't even think she even thought she was in any trouble. That's the scary part. And she's weird, like when something gets in the house. So I don't think she's ever dealt with a ghost because we've never been anywhere there's ghosties in the house. Whatever's in the house right now is probably not a ghost, it's something else. But it's I mean, it's possible it could somehow we could have brought
a dang alien.
What did you send them, Michelle? What did you send them?
Oops, was I thinking out loud?
Hey, I'm going to send you.
Yeah, we're just thinking.
Don't mess with me. I will have you probed.
Good luck. They like me now.
It don't matter if they like you or not. They owe me favors.
I've done the whole house up now, so they're nice and comfortable because everything's dark for them.
It's funny. I was giving a lecture in Laughlin, and I still remember I walked in and said, "You shouldn't say that. You send them to your house." I said, "Why?" He said, "You can't do that." I said, "Really?" Okay, well. Good night, everybody. I said, "Call me tomorrow night after you have an event." He's like, "What?" I said, "Just call me." He's like, "You're so full." I said, "Whatever." Don't. I said, "You know what? We're still going to be here." I said, "You'll have the event in the hotel room." He's like, "No." So 2 o'clock in the morning, his hotel room lit up with brilliant bright white light. And he found 4 puncture marks in his right arm and 3 on his left arm. But there was no cut, no blood. There was puncture marks. They were completely healed. But you could feel them. I said, you ready to be regressed? He said, he said, there was I can't use the language he used. Did you send? I said, I didn't believe you. He said, I do now. He said, but I didn't then. I said, well, I can't guarantee that I was going to come. I said, but you'd be surprised. A lot of times when you ask, they have no qualms. They go on screwing with some humans.
Y'all just have to take my approach. Just relax, ease into it.
Yeah, last time I seen Michelle on ship, she was sipping a cocktail. So I was like, well, how can you get a cocktail on board this ship? What the hell, great guy? You better go find me one now.
Whatever. The fringe benefit, because I just heated the house, so it's nice and comfortable. I get the cocktails, not you.
I always get the crazy people. So
yeah, there you go. But it's very different. A lot of people, it's funny, Sean, I don't know if you've encountered this, but when I do cases that have alleged demonic activity, they also have a lot of extraterrestrial presences there. Like people have witnessed grays on site, and allegedly they can use the same portals. Have you ever come across that?
No, not at all. Nothing with extraterrestrials, no.
Wow. Yeah.
But I can think about the next time I have to go to a place like that.
We wanted to start here because inside that building there, inside that building is
I'm not afraid
a
to
bunch of hard workers.
I probably had at least.
And this week,
I've done a lot of cases in 18 years, but I bet you a quarter of them have had sightings of grays, and they hear the same sort of sounds, like clicking, clacking, tearing, knocking, but not the traditional knocking. It's just odd
300 to 500.
It almost sounds like dimensional, like something's trying to come through. It's very strange, but or when they're asleep, they'll wake up and they'll see them.
Actually, Joe's here with us. Joe,
like,
you worked in there for quite some time, didn't you?
So curiosity, I thought I'd put it out there.
Sam and I often say that
I learned to start asking because when it started happening more often, I was like, you know what? It's definitely, there are some researchers that don't believe in angels and demons. They just think everything's extraterrestrial. There's some that go the other way. But in my experience of working with people, they have seemed to have characteristics from both.
It's just a very tough job.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
And like I said, this is National Correctional Officers
my pleasure. It's always nice to see if anybody else is getting the same thing,
But
coming across more people who research who have come across the same thing, it's like, okay,
law enforcement officers.
Not
Joe
just
was one of them, right?
happening in Canada.
Crystal, where are you writing in from? Illinois, Chicago. You from? Where you from? Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
There we go.
So what the hell are you doing? Before we get into your question, what the hell are you doing in Illinois? I've been to Illinois. Don't get me wrong. Chicago's a great city.
I love it there.
With some of its exocentric.
I like going to Schaumburg because we've got a very big mall there.
It's an interesting place. No, well, friends of mine were stationed at Great Mistakes.
I went to boot camp there.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
That's where my business partner went to boot camp at the Great Mistake.
Yeah.
He hated it. It was snowing. It was snowing. What off when he was there too. He's from the deep south. He's like, he said, dig our way out to go exercise. And I said,
yes. Well, I stepped off the plane.
I stepped off the plane. It
was 40 below zero.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy.
It was that freaking cold.
Wow.
See, he wanted to go to San Diego. That's where they sent me. I wanted to go to Orlando because that's where the waves were. That's where I wanted to be. I wanted to be with the waves and know people, not the water waves. Don't even be stupid. That's not what I was talking about. I wanted to be with the waves because we had sister companies. They had dances. They had dances and parties. You get that crap in San Diego. Yeah, we had dances with the Marines next door. It's like, come on. Plus, our boot camp was long, too. That really
please
big.
Do, because some of them
we had 16 weeks there, 8 or 10. I was like, what?
At 8-11?
I was like, man.
We had
Yeah. Well, I was in 12 weeks when I got picked up as Special Forces, and I went and spent 6 months with them.
Got me a bottle
And then I decided I didn't want to kill anybody, so I spent another 2 months. This is real quick, people, if you ever do this. So it was 8 months of training, 3 months of detraining before they would release me back in regular duty. And when people would get kicked out of boot camp, we wouldn't just let them go either. We would send them to basically like a detox for 4 weeks before we cut them loose to go home. Because, your brain gets a certain way when you're in the military. You're being trained to think a certain way and act a certain way. And I was being trained to really mess people up and to do things that you would not normally do. And I had a real good head for it. And they only picked me up because on the shooting day, on our third shooting day, it was my shooting day. And I qualified on all 3 rifles, M14, M16, and M1. 20 for 20 at 100 yards, 20 for 20 at 200 yards, and 20 for 20 at 500 yards.
Damn.
So they're like, yeah, come on.
Badass.
I grew up in the bayou. I grew up in the bayou hunting deer off a horseback with a bow, man. Come on. So to me, it was child's play. And most of my friends who came in that were from the South, they qualified pretty high too. So, but they offered me that, and then they found out my weird thing with electronics, and they offered me to go in, and I did. I was enjoying it. I was learning all kinds of stuff. Besides learning how to kill people 50 different ways with any little thing you could find.
That's a big concern to a lot of people.
Infiltration skills, but some of the other things they were teaching me, advanced surveillance, advanced electronics, a lot of weird stuff. And but the problem for me was I just didn't want to be a killer, and I knew, and I taught, and my commander was blatant about this. Like I said, it was about 8 months in. He just sat me down. He said, Joe, he said, I know you'll kill somebody if you have to. He said, I can see that much into you. He said, but you're not a killer, and you really don't want to be one. He said, maybe you should think about a reassignment on your OS.
I think you're in competition with the frog.
Yes, it's the frog. Anyway, long story short, I changed my OS and got into advanced avionics and advanced electronics.
Actually, a number of very tech-savvy people suggested
that. That's what's so weird. So when I got into SEALs training, I got what they call a Class 5 security clearance. This is pretty high, but
sure.
And I still remember this.
All right.
So when I switched out OSs and I was qualifying to be on the Nimitz to work in the reactor room on electronics and all these jets, fighter equipment, missiles, guidance. So the guy comes back. He said, Joe, your security clearance has to be impeccable. He said, you're going to be like a class. He said, that's higher than most of the freaking presidents get. He said, because you're going to be in the conning tower of the largest naval ship ever built. He said, you're going to be in its reactor room, and you're going to work on every jet that we've ever made. He said, yeah, dude. He said, they're going to make sure your clearance is like you wouldn't believe clearance. So, and it was so weird because I didn't really think about it. Even when they told me that, I didn't think about it. So like 6 months later, 8 months later after that, when I qualified, I said, okay, everything was great. Well, I got home. All my friends were freaking out. My family was freaking out. FBI came to the house, talked to my mom, talked to my friends, talked to my cousin, went and talked to all kind of people. All together, they interviewed over 300 people who knew me. Wow. 300. I was like stunned. And then I didn't even think about it. And then doing Katrina, I was working for an FBI agent. I was remodeling his condo, and he was a forensic expert. And he calls me up one day. He said, just before I hired you, I did a background check on you. I said, yeah, it doesn't surprise me. You work for the FBI. He said, I got a question for you. I'm like, what? He said, why do they do a background check on you? For you? Are you like a terrorist or something? I said, no, I just got this insanely high security clearance. And I said, and I do know things that, I shouldn't know, or I should know that I'm not allowed to talk about. I said, but it's, I said, that's all it is. Because people hear it. Because it's so high, everybody just assumes like, oh, well, he knows all about ET. He knows about this. I know a lot about a lot of things. And I'm told a lot of things because they know I'm not going to break my clearance because I don't want to go to prison. But it's nothing. Put this in perfect perspective. I had a congressman 6 years ago tell me, so a senator, because he called me up because of another guy I dealt with 15 years ago. He said, look, I know I looked you up. Everything's on the up and up. I seen what your clearance is. Well, I see you're in good standing. He said, so I can tell you this. And something that had been bothering me that I thought the government doing what I wasn't sure about. He confirmed it. It doesn't do me any good because I can't tell you or him or anybody else about it. I'm scared to talk about it. Even if we were face to face, I'd be scared to talk about it. Right. Because it's a good chance that somebody's listening somewhere. And it's not that I think they're out to get me, because if they wanted me, I have talked about shit, obviously, I've been threatened about the alien agenda more times than once. I've had my family threatened. I've had friends threatened. I've had them threaten my family and friends to meet. Because I still remember the guy when I came off the roof that day, them two guys, whatever they were, in their little gray Armani suits and their white SUV. These guys are wearing like $5,000 suits.
Right.
High-end weapons. Everything is expensive. The one ring the guy was wearing was definitely this weird glowing blue meteorite shit. This shit's like $25,000 an ounce. The vehicle they're in is I think it was a full-blown Escalade, fully loaded. Damn, $70,000. I'm like, what the hell? Who are you, idiot? And I knew they weren't in government. I knew they had power. But you could tell by the way they acted and they addressed at one point or another, they served with some branch somewhere, FBI or CIA or something. But they had power. But I tell you what, he told me
I gotta say something.
He said, I'm not going to threaten you because
I'm sorry I missed this from you last week.
Threatened before. He said, that's not enough. He said, one, if they don't carry it out, the threat's useless anyway. He says, I'm just going to tell you. And that's when he proceeded to tell me where Linda was at the moment, what she was doing. I mean, to the moment.
We hope you,
like there was someone watching her while we were talking.
Good evening, everyone.
He
Welcome
knew where my son
to
was,
the
what my
Thursday
son
night
was doing in
segment
school.
of the
He knew what
Outer
time we got
Realm.
home. He
We
knew
are
what time we got
broadcasting
on the bus.
live here on the
It's
United
just too
Public
much.
Radio Network,
So I said, look, I said, we'll leave
107.7
the
FM
agenda
and
alone for now.
105.3 FM from
It was
beautiful
all
New
over a
Orleans.
conversation I had with Alpha
This
Weber.
evening's segment
I mean, they
is
actually brought
partially
the net
sponsored by
down
the good folks
the
over at
night
Folgers
before,
Coffee.
but it was
So
all
thank
over
you,
that.
thank
I
you,
mean,
thank you,
they just,
Folgers.
I
Tonight
struck a
we will
nerve with the
welcome
alien
Carl
agenda.
Cookson and
And,
Hamilton White from the
because
hit
for the
TV
most part, they
series
have
The
several
Lost
agendas. And
Relics of
just
the
one of
Knights
the agendas
Templar.
is not
Back
exactly
to the show.
conducive
They
for
will be
all humans.
discussing their
It's
experiences.
not
They're
anti-human,
going to
but
be
it's just
showing
not
us
conducive
relics.
for all
They're going to be
humans.
telling us
Some
what's
humans,
coming up
I'm not going to
next.
say this politely,
It's
are
going
just
to be
not
a
going
lot
to
of
make the
fun
cut.
because I have a lot of stuff in the works right
And
now.
so as far as they're
So
concerned,
please
they think they're
remember,
doing
if
the
you want
right
to
thing.
participate in
So if
tonight's
they
show,
wipe
you're
out
going to have to
5
head
billion
over
of
to
us
the
to keep 2
UFO
billion of us, as far
Paranormal
as they're
Radio
concerned, they're doing the right
YouTube
thing. So
page.
now,
Subscribe
as
if you
a human
haven't.
that might be one of the
And
5
that's
billion that
where
might get
you're going to
wiped
be
out,
able
I'm a little
to
pissed off about it.
interact with
You
Amelia
know,
and I this
I'm
evening, and
older,
of
so if I
course
go in
our
there, it's not that
guests.
big of a deal.
But the show will
It's
be
I've had a pretty
simultaneously
decent life so
going on
far. So,
several different of the
Clara, we got to get
network's
out of here.
pages.
Who? What? Michelle?
So
What?
it's definitely going to be a great segment,
She is a
and I hope
Canadian
you will
Elvira.
all
Yes,
tune
yes.
in.
I call her that
So
all the
while
time.
Amelia gets all the links posted,
Yeah, the Canadian
I'm going
Elvira.
to get
Actually, I thought the first Elvira was from Canada. Actually, but we're not going to go there.
Cassandra Peterson.
Yeah, I thought she was originally from Canada. So,
Oh,
no, I'm pretty sure she. I ain't gonna argue with y'all about Elvira. Okay, it ain't even October yet, and I got my own personal Elvira right here, so we're not gonna argue about it. Oh no, Bubbles is an alien. She's my great alien. Yes.
Oh man, man.
Girl. Yeah. Okay, I just okay. We're not actually live, though. No, you're right.
Actually, Sean, next time you're on with someone, pull this video. I'm going to show you. So she sent me this video. We got like 2 seconds. She sent me this video, and it's a thing in her TV. It's a reflection in her TV, and it's weird, like energy beam, bluish thing that sparkles in it. You can tell it's some kind of human thing. It's her reflection.
I'll check on YouTube, but you definitely live. Hold on.
So she must not have her costume or outfit on or whatever, her human suit on, because it's a reflection. When she sent it to me, I said, "You are so busted."
The gents in.
Now you're posting.
Are just like on crack. Here we go.
No, I'm serious. Y'all think I'm playing? I am serious.
I'm sticking to that like there's nobody's business. Just
anyway, y'all be sure to check out Sean on Thursdays on Chasing Coffee. Be sure to see Michelle on Wednesdays and Thursdays.
Okay.
Actually, you got 2 of the best Thursday hosts right here. There's only one host missing on Thursdays tonight.
Thank you.
No, Jenny hosts with Sean. No, you confused. No. Sean and Jenny host on the same show with Jason.
Jenny's the blonde one?
Yeah, Jenny's the blonde one.
Seems like we host with her.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, they host with her. She the boss. Oh yeah, no, she the boss.
She's the boss. She's the boss.
And then Michael follows them with Red Pill News, and then Michelle and Amelia back them up with a closing show. So technically, Jenny and Sean and Jason are the opener for that day, and
we're
Michelle
not on
and
the
Amelia
screen,
are the
so
no, we don't count. We don't count Spaced Out Radio because they're 11 to 2 a.m. So they're not really the closer. They're more like they're still awake and high or listening to them. Not just like, it's just the wee hours of the morning, people. And if it's you're talking about the UK, it's like 6 a.m. Come on. Even if you were listening, you're probably like, what?
I got y'all full
Oh no, I
screen
love
right now.
Dave. Dave's another Canadian host. No, I love Dave.
I'm watching.
I pick on Dave.
from the other
No,
thing.
Dave knows because I pick on him all
But
the time.
everybody can hear us.
Well, we got a
right?
hair thing going because I ain't got
Should be
nothing
able to hear
here.
us,
But I
yeah.
got some
It's
way
showing
back
we
down
got
here.
audio.
He ain't got nothing back here, but I got
Let me
like
check.
puff
Let me
up
check
here.
on the other systems.
So, it's just a thing, people. Don't worry about it. But anyway, we got to get out of here. Be sure to catch me on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and Saturdays.
Okay, so I'm
Yes, Michelle and I
calling
are on Saturday.
two
You can still
people
catch
right
the shows on Sundays, and you
right
can find them
now.
starting this week, and they will all
Yeah,
be
it's
available
definitely an audio.
on
I guess we're
Podbean.
just
They
not
will
gonna
not be available on
Okay, just
YouTube
wanna
until
make
YouTube
sure.
says they can be
That's
available.
okay,
It's
because
nothing to
I
do
am
with YouTube.
recording
It's
it.
not doing
Okay, now I
Michelle.
can
How
bring
y'all
you
doing that? I'll
in
play
it.
with this guy.
Yeah.
And
so
once
I am recording
YouTube clears
this.
us to
I
put it
am,
monetized, it'll be
I am.
available for y'all, but not until.
Okay.
And I can't just start a new page and monetize them because you got to have
And here we go
1,000
with
friends
Stan
and
Hamilton.
4,000 hours. So,
This is the
and it takes still,
old-fashioned
even when you
refresh
got that, it usually takes them a month
to
and a half to
this
monetize
is
a page.
dinosaur.
But don't be in a
forever,
hurry. We're not
actually.
going anywhere. We're all
Quite
here.
the time. But
Everybody's
it's
in good
okay.
health. Everybody's having
Yeah, we're
fun.
coming in loud
And we
and
got to go
clear,
now
but for
because
some
Horseshoe
reason
Chronicles
it's
are
just
coming
not
up
showing the
with
video.
Phil
So I'm recording us.
Julia
So go video and
Syracuse.
archive.
And
Hi,
stay go names on this station.
Also from Pennsylvania.
Yes, more Pennsylvanians. Yeah, more.
Yeah.
We're being taken over by Canadians and Pennsylvanians. Oh,
Stand straight, brother.
There we go.
It's an invasion of the North, people. It's an invasion of the North. But I know, ladies and gentlemen, we got to go. So stay tuned for Horseback Chronicles, and we'll see y'all in time. Good night, everybody.
Night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Difficulties are trying to work out this new system. So YouTube is on. It's audio only. I'm recording us here.